and welcome to episode 473 of the GodIsAGeek.com podcast. My name's Adam Cook, putting on a professional voice for the new listeners. It's going to be a strange podcast this week because the new year is it's upon us now. We're kind of in it. You can't, it's gone past that point of saying Happy New Year to people, or has it? Chris Hyde, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year again.
Are you still signing your emails with that, or
No,
it's gone now. Isn't it?
It's weird now, isn't it? Like, I think when people say that, it's like, God, is it? Has another one gone by?
Well, we're now onto the stage where we can in emails go, is it too late to say Happy New Year?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We can all have a bit of fun.
But emails. I mean, Happy New Year, I suppose, to anyone I've not said that to in the last.
It is a new
days.
Year. It is a new year. You can't deny that.
It is a new year, and let's be happy. So yes.
Oh, well, you ruined it a bit.
Sorry. Keep going. It's a new year. Yes.
That's it. There's nothing more than that. It's just us this week, as people can probably see if they're tuning in via the YouTube channel, youtube.com/GodIsAGeek, where you can subscribe and see all of our lovely videos and sometimes our faces, like right now. And I think I said this the other week, but sometimes we're going to be doing shorter podcasts because there's a lot going on behind the scenes, but they will be counterbalanced by the ridiculously long ones because embargoes and video games are happening.
Oh, yes. And release date mountains and everything else.
And then people announcing more games. And the game getting delayed, and then another one getting a release date. It's where do you start? You start by saving the world. Is what you do.
Yes, indeed. I did wonder. I was honestly wondering. I didn't know how you were going to do it, but yes, I've been playing for what seems like quite a while now. Actually,
yeah.
Nobody Saves the World, which is the newest game from Drinkbox Studios, who are the lovely people who brought us the Guacamelee and Guacamelee 2 a few years ago. And this is their latest game. So there's quite a fair bit of pedigree there. I quite like the Guacamelee games. So I was looking forward to it. But it's a bit different if you've played, obviously, the Guacamelee games. They're more like kind of 2D Metroidvania type titles. But this one, Nobody Saves the World, is a bit different. It's like a 2D top-down kind of RPG adventure game, I would say. Giving me vibes of like old school sort of like 2D Zelda games. There's like, overworlds with enemies you're attacking and dungeons to go and explore and quests to go on. So very much that sort of kind of overall feel. General story as you start, you are nobody. The nobody in the title of Nobody Saves the World that's the protagonist, and you kind of wake up with amnesia. Classic video game storylines opener there. So you basically just go to this, you get told to go to this wizard's house to figure out what's going on, try to get your memory back. And before you know it, you find yourself in possession of his magic wand, which gives you the ability to change your form into, and initially you just get this rat form, which makes you this little blue rat. But as you carry on your adventure, you can unlock various other forms to turn into, and that's really kind of a lot of the gameplay mechanics. That's the main kind of mechanic of the game, is these different forms that you transform into, because each form kind of controls and plays differently. It's like a different character class in a Final Fantasy game, if you like. There's different kind of and they're all wacky forms. Some of them are fairly standard, like you've got an archer or a sort of knight character, but then you've also got a slug or a magician or a horse that you can transform into, and they all have different attack patterns. They all have different skills and abilities that you can kind of unlock as you play more as these different forms, and you basically just go on adventures, choosing which forms you want to be, and try and carry on your quests. Now, initially, like I say, you only have this rat form, and so the rat form it forms a functional purpose in the sense that this rat is smaller and you need it to get through small corridors, and so you think, okay, this is going to be a game where I'm going to get given these forms that are necessary to progress. But actually, as you progress more into the story, you unlock more and more forms as you level up, and you realize actually this is more about there are a couple of forms you need to have, like swimming forms to let you swim around into the water, but most of them are just for having fun and trying out their different ways of attacking and killing enemies, and they are all actually quite different. Like it's you get it in some games where you have different kind of characters, and that a lot of them control very similarly. They just look a bit different. But the horse, for example, always kicks backwards, so you've got to be facing the other way if you want to attack. Like the archer can only do ranged attacks, so you can't do close attacks. You've got other forms that will only attack. You've got the ghost, which attacks with an aura around itself and never actually attacks anything. So
I struggle with that one.
Yeah,
the ghost one was the one I was like, am I doing this wrong?
It was the one. It's the one that I struggle in terms of it not being immediately obvious how you do it. But once you unlock more, I kind of clicked. But yeah, I remember us two playing. And I will say that's nice, nice segue into that. Actually, it's a fully functioning single player adventure, and it's designed as a single player experience, but you can seamlessly pull in a second player to do co-op online at any point. So at any point in your save, you can load up that save and then add in another person, and they can join you on your adventure. They'll help you in dungeons and in quests, but also they'll help you level up your various forms and help them rank up, which will then unlock more abilities and things that you can play around with. But when this game really elevated for me, you get to a certain point in the game. It's not too far in, which I think is really good. You'll have unlocked a few forms at the point where actually you unlock the ability to mix and match different abilities on any form. So any as you rank up each form, you unlock extra abilities for that form. But then, like I say, you get to a certain point in the game and you can sort of mix and match your loadouts. So anything you've unlocked up to that point could be put on any character. So you could have a horse that fires a bow and arrow, for example, as an attack, or that ghost story that we talked about. That could be some other character, and various other things. You can basically mix and match. So it doesn't then, whilst you can still alternate between forms relatively quickly, you can also start thinking, okay, what's a good combination of abilities that maybe were originally belonged to different forms that I can now pull together to deal with a particular area or a particular dungeon that's given me trouble. What would be a good way through this, rather than using one form for one enemy and then changing on the fly. You can still do that, but you can mess with your loadout, which I thought was really clever.
Yeah.
And the other link to that, the other good thing the game really, what I think does really well is it gives you a lot of they call them form quests. They're the things that if you complete, you level up your forms and rank them up. You get XP for it. And these originally just start as just unique to that form. So for the horse, for example, that runs around, you might just have to gallop a certain amount or kick a certain amount of enemies. But as you unlock the ability to kind of mix and match your abilities across the forms, then it starts giving you different quests which kind of challenge you to think, oh, well, what now as that horse you might have to poison a certain number of enemies, which you couldn't previously do, but now you can because you've unlocked the ability to mix and match. So another form could usually poison something. So it also rewards you for thinking outside the box and thinking and getting used to that idea of customizing your form loadout, I guess, which is a really interesting thing, because I haven't seen many games do that, where it really rewards you for thinking outside the box and encourages it in a way that game does. And it just means that throughout that game, you're always progressing, you're always unlocking something new, you're always not just progressing the story, but like experiencing something else to do with forms and loadouts and stuff. And it's just such good fun. I mean, I know I played co-op with you and we had a blast with it. I don't know what your thoughts to build on what I've said are.
I mean, the first thought I have about this game is to thank them for getting us early review code for it, to be honest with you. Because if every game came as early as this one did, then I think it would make our job an awful lot easier.
Yes.
But I don't know. Maybe it was just finished. Maybe it was just done. But maybe they were acutely aware of the sort of melee that is going to be the first quarter of 2022. I was remarkably impressed by this game. Like it's I sort of didn't know what to expect really because I didn't play the demo, and I am a big fan of the Guacamelee games. I think they're fantastic in not just how they look, the writing, but importantly how they play. They play superbly. So I wouldn't have been against a third, but I kind of want a sequel to this now. It's
well, absolutely, yes.
Like I mean, they could easily just do it again with new forms and like it's proper dopamine hit stuff. This game, like it is. It's like, imagine if an RPG kind of rewarded you every 5 minutes, almost.
Yeah.
Like with some bar, because as you said, like there's an overall XP bar and there's a per character XP bar that you can, and it's like there's always this dopamine hit of bar fills up, ring, thing happens, and it might be just nothing, like you just get another star to help you unlock a new dungeon, or it might be, you know, it might unlock a new form or a new move or anything like that. And it's just it reminds me, and I think Drinkbox are now in this category. It reminds me a little bit of like the people, you know, Super Giant, in terms of like you can tell that they're making video games they want to play, like how Hades or Bastion are. Like you can almost tell the people involved with that have been, you know, like Greg Kazavin's been like a games critic in the past because he's making a game he wants to. Well, not him specifically, his whole team. But you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I get it.
You can sort of tell that the Drinkbox aren't going, we need to make this kind of game because that's what the market demands. You know, well, how can we get a battle pass in here? Is there any way we can monetize this in the multiplayer? You know, they are just going, someone's come up with an idea. They've obviously got a great art team. Like, they've obviously got a superb art team at Drinkbox. But someone's come up with the idea here. And then I feel like the meeting, I'd love to chat to them about this. I feel like the meeting must have gone that they just kept layering ideas on, and it just kept working. And it's like, this is magic. Because as you say, there is a moment, there's a few moments, but there's a moment in that game where you think you and this happens a lot. I don't know if this is just me, but maybe it's because of how many games in my life I've played and reviewed or covered in some way for the job. But there comes a point in most games where you think, I've probably seen everything they're going to reveal. Like this, if you don't like this now, you will still not like it in 10 hours. It's not unlikely that they're going to revolutionize the gameplay mechanics or anything like that. Some of the very best ones, and like I played God of War recently on PC, and that does it. I'm not going to spoil why, because it has just come out on PC, but that changes fairly late in the game in terms of the mechanical aspect of it. Like, it doesn't show its hand. You think it's shown its hand, but it hasn't. Nobody Saves the World does this kind of in abundance. Like, it's continually, like I say, it's that dopamine hit, but it's also we're doing this now? Okay, that's cool. Like you say, when you realise you can customise your characters, that is a true wow. One of the first sort of big moments of a game of 2022 for me, even though it was in 2021 technically for us. Humble brag. But like, you know, it is weird how it's just, it's weird because I can't really put, you know, I found it a bit easy overall. Overall. Yes. I wouldn't say every part of it. There were a couple of real bastard bits, but generally speaking, I found it a bit on the easy side. Yeah, a bit on the easy side, but
I think once you get to that place where you're like, I know how to get the most from like my loadouts or the abilities, and you understand that and the control schemes and everything else, then I think, and you get one that works for you, I think you can take down most situations.
Yes.
So I agree with you on that. But yeah, other than that, it was hard. It was hard to thought this game. I reviewed it, gave it a 9.5. Definitely go and read that review. There's a video review as well, so you can see more of it other than what you're seeing on screen.
It's also got a good New Game Plus.
The new game plus is brilliant, and I won't spoil that here.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't want to spoil it too much. Just to say that it is. I'm not really one for that. I don't know how you generally feel with games. Like I'm kind of a one and done guy these days, and I've got some I go back to. If you know what I mean. Like I'll always. It's a bit of a cop out to say it, but I'll always go back to a FIFA or we're going to talk about Rainbow Six Extraction. I'll always go back to a game that is designed. Because it's not a story game. It's kind of only the absolute pinnacle. Like I went back to Horizon recently and played a bit more of that because I'd platinumed it, but I wanted to do the DLC and just explore the world a bit again. I played God of War again because it's one of my favorite games. Nobody Saves the World. I started the New Game Plus because you'd said the New Game Plus was cool, and I was like, well, what can they do? And I'm not going to spoil it.
No,
but I did find myself going, I kind of do want to just keep playing this. Actually, I kind of just want to carry on.
Yeah, all I'll say is it's definitely not what you think it's gonna. It's not just everything's harder. Like it's not just a difficulty thing. They've actually considered the way they've actually considered where the point you will be at the point you finish the game, and therefore how they can make New Game Plus an interesting challenge. And I thought that was just really clever. Because I don't know. I'm like you. Unless it's for like I really love a game and I want to get like the platinum or something.
It's often a time thing.
Yeah, but that's why.
It's not always a fun. The thing is, I kind of. This is going to sound almost trite. I love games. I really love games. I always get excited when I start a new game. I want every game to be brilliant. I mean, it's just not the case. But I want every game to be good. Who wants games to be bad? Who wants there to be a 40 to 60 quid product someone buys and it's like, this is bad? Who wants to celebrate that? You want things to be good. You want your favorite band's new album to be good. You want the new movie you're going to see. You want things to be good. Yeah. So I want to play more good things. I want to play fresh, new, and innovative things. And so it's not that I don't want to play them. It's that I feel like I've usually had my fill by the time a credits roll.
You've played it, and there's
like
other things
to play. One. But they do it well. I like I say, I can't really fault it. Apart from it's sometimes a bit easy. But it's not like. I'm not saying you'll breeze through it without dying. You'll definitely die loads, but it's also very generous with when you do die.
The checkpoint system is very generous.
The only time it'll screw you is in a main dungeon where it will slow you back outside, and because the dungeons are slightly roguelike in that it's a bit like Spelunky where the dungeon's there where it always was, but the rooms were round a bit, Yeah. But they're not. They're never like hours long, so it's like you lose 10 minutes max. Yeah, but you don't really lose it. You just. Yeah, no, it's in Game Pass. If for anyone who doesn't know, it's in Game Pass. It's on PC and PC and Xbox, isn't it?
Yeah, it's PC, Xbox. Yeah, and it's on Game Pass. So
and it's brilliant. It's
so good.
So we stick with Game Pass because we've got another game to talk about this week, and it's weird because it's also in Game Pass and it's also out now. And we didn't get it in December, but I did play it in December.
And it's also pretty good.
Well, I'm going to say nothing on that, right? Because I had some things to say about this game after previewing it for 4 hours.
You did. I remember. We spoke about it. We did the preview chat, didn't we? Yes.
Yeah, and on the podcast, I feel I was kind of lukewarm.
Yes.
But that's because we had the full game at that point, so I was trying not to admit that we had, like, Mick had played the game at the point
and I think there's one other crucial difference as well, which I think
there's a massive crucial difference. Yeah. But Rainbow Six Extraction, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Extraction is available now on Game Pass, PC, PS5, 4. That's it. I think Stadia, for those of you on Stadia. But I'm going to just withdraw from the conversation while Chris speaks, and then we'll see whether I agree or disagree with him, because I was I was iffy on it.
You were. Chris. So I'll start by just setting the scene of what this title is. So Rainbow Six Extraction. What you're looking at here is a co-op shooter where up to 3 of you online can take part in various missions to go and gather intel about this. I forget the official name of it. This kind of this sort of alien plague that's kind of infested the world, and by that I mean America, by the looks of things.
Specific locations in America as well.
Specific locations in America, which is always the way, I guess. So you get you have certain areas in America that you unlock as you progress, and then within those areas, specific maps, up to 3 maps in each area, and you go into each you choose an area and your team go in, and each area is divided into 3 kind of smaller areas, and in each of those areas you have a mission to complete, and each of those areas is separated by like this kind of airlock system that you kind of go through once you've completed the mission. But once you've gone through the mission, you can't go back. So it's one of those. But the important thing to remember here is that health and damage is permanent, and we'll come on to more of that in a moment. But what it does mean is as you're going through these missions, and either a solo or as a group, if you take damage, you have a decision to make once you finish the mission to go, do I progress on and try and do the next one? And if I do, I'll gather more intel for the guys, and I'll get more experience for my operator. Or I could actually end up, it's a bit risk reward system. I can end up dying, losing my character, and failing the mission. And that has consequences. And I'll go into that sort of stuff in a minute. So there's very much a choice every time you're going through each of these kind of missions. Each time you complete one of the 3 areas, to go, okay, do I want to progress to the next one, or do I just want to exfil out now, cut my losses, and just bank the XP and bank the health that I've got, which I think is a really interesting thing, because in most of the games that you play, it's very much a case of you just push on until your health bar gets to 0. It's very much a eke everything out till the final bullet, if you like. But there's very much a decisions to be made. So, and like I said, I'll come back to it now. The reason why that's such a crucial decision is because damage and health is permanent, and that's a real key feature in this game. So, you start off with, I want to say, 9 operators that you can choose from. 9 operators that you can choose from.
It's 18 total, 9 to unlock.
18 total. So you unlock a few each time. You level up to a certain level,
Groups
and
of
then
3.
you unlock some more. So you start off with 9, and you can choose any one of them. And some of them, they've each got a unique ability. So there's a doc which can heal either himself or other operators. There is this character called Pulse, who can use the little machine to pulse around for enemies and nests and things. There's a guy with just a massive hammer that can bash through walls and stun enemies.
Good old Sledge.
Called Sledge. Yeah. So there's various different operators, okay? And they all start with 100 health in every mission, all of them. And even if you heal, like I just said, with like the doc, or you pick up a medikit, it doesn't actually increase that health number. It kind of adds temporary health on top. Okay, so if you have 100 health and you take 20 damage, and then you get healed for 20, yes, you go back up to 100, but you'd still you keep your actual health bar at 80. You just have an extra blue bar of an extra 20, which then would tick down over time. So the longer you take that then will come back down to 80. And the important number there would be the 80 health that you have, because then let's say as that operator, you finish the mission, and you got out, you would end that mission with 80 health, and that 80 health would actually stick with your operator now. Your operator's now lost some health and he's at 80 health. And the only way to increase operator health is to pick a different operator, go in and do some more missions, earn some more intel. And the more intel you learn, the more XP you get from your characters, the more health you get for all of your resting operators back at base. Okay. So what all of that means is every health point matters in this game. Okay. So really, you don't want to mess up at any point.
You kind of don't want to take a hit.
No, like you don't want to take a hit.
It's weird because there are 4 difficulty levels, right?
Yeah.
But really, the kind of damage as such that you take is kind of almost always set to, like, when you play a game and it's on like realistic, and it's like if you're shot, you're dead. It's not. Yeah. It's not that extreme, but it isn't far off. Like if these enemies had guns, like proper human guns, they're projectile weapons. But if they had guns and they headshot you in this game, I get the feeling you'd be dead. Yeah. It's kind
There's been situations, and yes. Because you've actually witnessed me do it, where I've been like full health and full health and a medikit, and gone down to about 20 health in seconds because I've been hit 3 times in a row, and I've lost all that health. And it's I'll tell you now, it's heartbreaking. If you take one of your most experienced operators, the one you've been playing with lots, and you've got the highest level, you've unlocked some extra guns with them or some extra, enhanced abilities with them. And you technically go, I'll go take this one because he's my, he's the high level, but I will say higher level doesn't mean it's got more HP. They've still all got 100.
It just kind of gives you more options to play with it.
Yeah.
You do start, so some operators will have like 1 health. There's like 4 bars you can fill up: 1 health, 2 armor. Some will have 2 armor, 1 health.
Yes.
You do upgrade those as you play.
Yeah.
But it does, like, so for example, one of the things you can take into an extraction, into a skirmish is like body armor. Now, I tend to take that if I'm playing as a character with 1 armor because you are so squishy.
Squishy, yeah.
You need to at least be able to survive an encounter should it go wrong.
Yeah.
But I think the thing you mentioned about it being frustrating, or not so much frustrating, but heartbreaking, is absolutely 100% agree. Like, I completely agree with you. However, what I would say is I think they balance that really well, because as long as you survive, you can still get, even if you did nothing, even if you absolutely ballsed up the very first objective, you could carry on and risk it all, or you can extract and you'll still get XP because you killed things, and then you'll still get a bonus because you extracted successfully of 90%. Yeah. So it's kind of, it is, I can't, Mick has said this several times when we've been playing, and I can't put my finger on it, but there is a game, totally different genre of game, that does something like this, where it's like, I think I said to you, it's almost like the weakest link. I said it last week's podcast. It really is that. It is like bank. We want to bank that XP and get out of here because we cannot. And we've done this. We've been playing and gone, we know what the next objective is. We are not going to do it. We're not. No. So let's finish this one.
We're looking around at our health going, and the other thing is, what I will say, the good thing is by this, so there are various different missions. So there's 3 to complete, but there's a choice. I want to say there's a pool of about 10. I don't know exactly. I haven't actually counted them up in my head, but and it will tell you what 3 objectives you're going to have.
Before you even pick your operators.
Yeah. So you pick your operators based on the missions you're going to have to go and complete. And you also make your decisions of whether you're going to get out or stay in based on the missions you're going to come across next. Because there are some that we find easier. I think that are easier as well. And there are some that are, and I say harder, require more forward planning, considered approaches than others. And ones that can go south very quickly if you get that wrong. And it just, what all of that creates, all those bits and pieces, those mechanics all together creates essentially a really tense but rewarding experience, because you have to work together as a team. You have to.
So it's, sorry, Chris, don't mean to interrupt you, but that what you've hit there is a point I wanted to make, and I don't want to forget. I think, I don't want to use the word brave. I kind of can't believe Ubisoft made this, because it is the most niche game. Because I don't think it's fun if you meet with randoms. I think it's very limited fun solo. I think you'd need to start with a teammate, and then you could play solo because you kind of had learnt the rules.
Yes. But
playing exclusively solo, I don't think you're going to have fun. Just you and one other mate, I think that's fine. It scales the difficulty depending on how many people are in the party.
Yes, it does.
That's really good. It's so niche. Like, I get why it's in Game Pass, because I just don't think this was going to sell. Like, I just don't think it was. And yet, like, people are kind of angry at it because it is this or isn't that. And, like, I put 26 hours into it before the game was out. Like, I don't do that. Not with multiplayer games. Not these days.
You know a game's good.
Yeah.
When you're like, so lads, when are we playing Extraction again?
Are we playing tomorrow night? Well, we just finished. But we're playing tomorrow night, right?
Yeah. Okay, you can go to bed now, but we're playing tomorrow.
We are definitely going to play.
It was literally that kind of conversation, because, and that's what I mean by saying that, like, it's tense, but it's so rewarding, because you have, I think, we touched on a bit like how you were cold on it and now you're really not cold on it now.
I just don't think I had time with it. I think 4 hours wasn't enough to and also I will say this much: Ubisoft dropped us into the play session where the progression was like 60% complete. So you had all the operators unlocked. You had you didn't have all the modes, but when you play it from the beginning and you are like, you can play New York with these 9 operators, and that's how you progress.
Yeah.
And the progression made sense to me then. But playing the preview build, where they would literally drop you into like the middle of the progression with everything unlocked and nothing to do but just kind of play the game, well, it's like I've played Siege. I know what Siege is. I don't need to mechanically understand this. I already do. The actual progression when you play it, and there will be people, I mean, there are people that are going to be upset, like it takes XP off you if you lose a character, but if you get them back, you get the XP back. Yeah. That's it. And so, like, and to be honest with you, it's a minor negative, but what you really do is if you really don't want to lose that XP, when you lose a character, don't go back in with your mates. Get them back another time, solo it on easy, you'll get it as a first mission, and you can do it in your sleep, and you're not going to lose that XP. I'm enamored with this game. Like, watching the footage play out to the viewers on YouTube right now, I'm like, I really want to go and play that game right now.
I know, yeah. I was thinking.
That's not to say it's perfect. Like, there are I will say, as long as they support it with perhaps, like, I believe they're going to be adding like further new objectives and probably new maps. They will 100% add operators, which will make me come back because I will want to see what they've got, what the tools, and I suspect they'll probably roll out seasons where you'll get one new operator, one new map, and one new alien type and an objective. So it's like this new, whether it's, I don't know, I'm plucking either 60 odd operators out of Siege, but that one will benefit you because of this new objective. We struggle with certain objectives every single time. Maybe there's an operator that's going to have the ability that makes that easier. Yeah. I think the stuff I'd change is really minor. Like, I actually didn't like, but do now like the temporary health system because it adds tension. Because, like, when Mick was first playing it for review, because we'd played it before he even started, we were having to be like, no, it's great you've healed us as Doc, but we need to move now because that health is ticking. So it might look like I've got a lot, but by the time we get 10 minutes into this 15-minute incursion, we won't have any health and we will be nearly dead. Yeah. On that subject, I think Doc should heal properly because Doc's specialist ability is the heal. But he's not healing. He still does, he shoots you or himself with the gun and it's a temporary heal, same as a health pack. Doc should matter more. It should matter more that he is the only character that can heal. So when he shoots you with his heal gun, it should give you actual health. And I think that would even reward you more because if someone played as Doc then, the pressure is on them to play really well and end on 100 health and you guys having not had to use your abilities because then before you extract, he can pump you full of his health gun and you won't have lost as much health come the end of that incursion. And I think it adds just a little bit more jeopardy. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. I disagree, but
what's the point of Doc then? That's the thing.
Well, the point of Doc is for additional medikits.
But he only heals in 20 to 40 increments.
Oh, I know. But I worry
packs.
That other times the only counterpoint to that would be the fear of getting hurt lessens if you know you've got a backup right at the end. That's and also you can top up his heals.
But he can only heal 3 times.
Yeah, but you can top up his heals if you find the ability.
If you find it,
but then you would look for them more, wouldn't you? But anyway,
what I'm saying is, if you had to use those heals in game, it adds jeopardy because I can only heal, let's say 90 health if you max him out. That's not enough.
Yeah,
that's not enough. So if you and Mick are playing with me and you're both wounded, I've got a choice to make there at the end of the match, haven't I?
Yeah, I mean, you pick me because I'm here.
Because you're here right now. Yeah. I pick you. I pick you every time, of course.
Yeah,
but like that's another little added jeopardy thing of the teamwork, and it adds a little twist on it at the end there, where you're like, well, listen, I've got 67 health and he's got 64, so three's not much of a difference. I'm really good with this character. I really need you to heal this character up for me.
Yeah. Or maybe other thing, because I love this game, and I don't want to sound like I'm down on it, but the only other thing that I would probably change or wish they'd done a little bit differently is I think there are some things that it doesn't really explain very well, and you only understand them through a bit of trial and error and playing.
So can I say something that will make people rage? Do you know what it reminds me of?
Dark Souls.
Yep. The knowledge I had at finishing the preview build, I was like, I can explain what this game is and I can explain roughly what it does. But when you start playing it, you bang on. You're like, I don't understand, I don't get it. And it's got that thing of you play with you and Mick and Chris Hyde, and we're chatting and we're learning as we play, and we're like, I'm trying to think what it was. There was when I discovered, for example, that the nests, you don't have to, but you should stealth them because they remove the sprawl, the kind of goop that comes out of them, and makes it easier to move around. Yeah. That's a discovery that it probably tells you somewhere in one of the million codecs. There's too much of that. But it probably tells you. But when you discover it, and then you're with your team, you're like, hey, I think it was you actually. I think said, Chris, can you stab that one? And I watched it, so I was,
yeah.
And it's like, oh, it does do that. And it's like that's the sort of thing that in those kind of discovery games, I'm not going to call them Souls-likes, but in the discovery games where when you find something and you share it with the community. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to, but I don't know.
It is similar in that sense.
It's an exhilarating game. It makes it genuinely. You finish every mission and you go.
You just feel like sticking two fingers up to this faceless enemy. You're like, yeah, we did it.
I like the enemy designs as well because I like the fact that they are it's all different parts of a race, as it were, all the alien race, and it's you have to study that. And also, I've seen complaints that they look too similar. You're not pinging enough, then, mate. Because if you ping an enemy, it tells you what it is, and it tells your teammates what it is, and importantly, where it is.
And they all move differently as well.
They all move differently. They've got different weak spots. But like I say, if you're not pinging, if you're not playing as a team and pinging enemies and literally saying, "That's the one I want to take out now," him.
Yeah.
That's not the game's fault.
Yeah, I feel like it's interesting because you can categorically when we have a bad run, when we have a bad, when things go south incredibly quickly.
Yep.
You go back over it in your head and go, so where did that go wrong then? And it'll be because one or all of us went in different directions and didn't talk to each other and just started doing something on our own every single time. Whereas when we're playing together and we're talking to each other and we're approaching it kind of tactfully, you've got 15 minutes, which feels a really short amount of time.
It's
amount of time,
but
it isn't. It's always enough time to do what you need to do in that mission. It's so funny. Even us that have done some of these missions, know them like the back of our hands. Some of the early and the maps at the back of our hands, some of the earlier maps. There were still times when we were just like, forget what the game is about, and it is about just considered approach, working together. Like you say, pinging things that you spot and helping each other.
I'd be curious. Do you have much history with the Rainbow Six games yourself, personally, generally?
No, I don't.
So this may not mean much to you, but I hope it means something to the people listening or watching. The thing I got the most from this is it reminded me of the glory days of Rainbow Six New Vegas, T-Hunt, where it was you and your mates against the AI. And you could ramp up that difficulty slowly but surely. And this feels like T-Hunt the game, but with the aliens instead of terrorists or whatever. It feels completely within your control, and I think it's just such a fucking good game. When you and it's often I know a lot often there's a lot of footage people have seen here watching this. Well, I'm the drone guy. I like droning around. I got one of the upgraded drone that automatically pings stuff for you. When you do that on the higher difficulties and you're further into the mission and you see it, and it is a room full of enemies and nests.
Yeah.
And you do stop, the three of you, and you're outside the room and you are kind of there going, right, how are we going to do this?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I've got this and that. And if I come in from it, and that is T-Hunt. That is what Rainbow Six, the T-Hunt mode was. And I quite liked it in Siege, but it felt like they put it in because people would have been angry if not, whereas it always felt like a multiplayer game, which it is, and it's become, brilliant at it. But this feels like, and this is why I say it's like a massive niche for me, because this, I'm well aware that there will be people who will bounce off this violently, and that's Game Pass for you, isn't it? But this is kind of the co-op game I've wanted for such a long time, where it is like, no, you don't get to say, but I like to play it more like a run and gunner. You don't get to do that. You do that, we all fail.
The amount of times it's like, Mick, stop.
Well, Mick is the more sort of aggressive player.
Yeah,
but I noticed his playstyle changing.
Yeah.
Because it requires it. You don't get to be, I'm the run and gunner. It's like, great, there's no class for you, though. There's no character that's a run and gunner. None of them move particularly quick. None of them can get out. If you're getting attacked by a horde, it's not like the Anacrusis where you can hit a button and a shield comes up and knocks everyone away.
I wish it could.
Well, yeah. But it's not that game. This game requires communication, requires teamwork, requires patience, actually, in a way that not many do. And do you know what? I bet this game gets a doing, and I bet it doesn't sell well, and I bet we get more Assassin's Creeds and Far Cry's, and we don't go down this route of making these really interesting games that are very much designed with niche audiences in mind and have mechanics that you don't see in AAA games. You don't lose progress in AAA games the way that this game punishes you. You don't lose. You don't go, oh, I love playing as Doc, and then you lose him and you can't play as him for fucking hour. No one does that. It's almost that Kojima thing of like, well, if you die in the game stops working. It doesn't go that far with it, but the idea, it makes me wonder if someone heard that and was like, well, that's a good idea, we could do this. And no game does that. And I tell you what, AAA sort of big blockbusters from massive publishers definitely don't do that. Imagine if Horizon Forbidden West came out, and if you died as Aloy, you couldn't play as her for an hour. You had to play as like something else, someone else. Like people would be in uproar.
Yeah.
It forces you to play on its terms, I think, in a way that few do. And that again is a very FromSoft thing. You don't get like Sekiro.
This is the game.
Sekiro, you don't get to go, no, I'm not going to parry. Well, you do, and then you do what I did and you don't finish it. That's what it is. You don't get to say, nah, I don't want to parry. That's the game. That's what's been designed. I love it. I absolutely love it.
It is really good.
I bet I'm in the minority.
All I would say, just really reiterate to anybody that's considering, it's on Game Pass and considering giving it a go. Give it a go if you can with one or two friends.
Yes.
Don't turn it on, especially not for the first time, and try and do it solo, because you'll play it and you won't get the experience of what's going on. Even if the three of you are going in blind, you'll still be like talking to each other and trying to figure stuff out together. And that'll still be part of the experience. Yeah. So I definitely encourage, if you're going to give it a go, and you should, to do it as a group of friends that you can talk to whilst you're playing, because it elevates the experience. It's so much better with that.
Well, on that note, I know it's only 2 games, but I have also played Total War Warhammer 3. But I would just say, go read the preview, go watch the video. I'm not the guy that's going to end up reviewing that game. I'm very impressed by that game, but it's not my kind of thing. But it is fucking brilliantly made. Let's do some listener correspondence, because it's been a bit of a big week in the old games industry.
There's been some news. I don't know, can't remember it, but yeah, there's been some.
Politica from our Discord says, in light of the Activision Blizzard purchase, because Microsoft are buying Activision, what are your views on consolidation of publishers in the gaming industry? What positives do you potentially see, if any? Do you want to start, or do you want me to start?
Well, if you can start, it's fine. I'll chip in, have a conversation.
Well, I mean, the positives are for Xbox users, aren't they?
They've
already said that every game they can bring to Game Pass, they're going to do, I think, on PC as well. The positives are that you probably, I don't say for definite, but maybe not. Well, probably not this year, but 2023's Call of Duty, you probably won't have to pay for it. It's in Game Pass.
Yeah, I would,
the next Crash Bandicoot, Game Pass. I don't think Call of Duty goes exclusive. I think.
Well, Phil Spencer came out, didn't he?
Yeah,
he said. I don't know. I didn't. It was interesting. I didn't understand. He wasn't clear on the time frames.
Well, that's the thing. They're not going to announce that. They're talking about the pre-agreed contracts in the same way that Deathloop was exclusive to PlayStation for a year, and Ghostwire Tokyo.
Yeah,
is that the right word? Ghostwire is exclusive to PlayStation for a year. So Call of Duty has had exclusive modes on PlayStation for the last 3 or more iterations. They had Spec Ops, they had Zombies Onslaught, and some. I don't know if Vanguard has, actually. But the 3 before Vanguard did have.
PS, so I don't know actually what's there on. But,
I don't know if this year's has, but they have the previous years. But you don't know how long that deal's for.
No, it read to me like what we've agreed so far we will honour, but we're not saying we're going to keep signing new deals in the future.
once those deals expire, there's absolutely no chance PlayStation gets like the new Onslaught mode a year before Call of Duty does on Xbox. There's no way. No way. I don't think Call of Duty goes exclusive.
I think it depends on the dynamic of how many Xboxes shift. If in the because the next the next Call of Duty that comes November this year, whenever it's going to be, sort of time,
October, November.
Yeah, that sort of time. That's going to be cross platform. The next one in a year and a half's time, or more than that, I would say, if there's because I imagine the reason for not doing it right is the financial is the fact that if loads of people, I think it's something stupid like 70% of Vanguard players are PlayStation or something at the moment.
It is. It's a high number.
So if there are less, you're kind of denying yourself software sales if you say,
and 70%'s a lot.
Yeah, and it's not quite the same as you say, well, you need an Xbox to play.
Hey, just get
Halo.
Game Pass on your phone.
What's that?
Get Game Pass on your phone, and you can still play it.
Yeah, but it's not the same when a franchise has been cross-platform and then becomes singular. It's a bit different to say, well, it's like Halo now, and it's like, but it wasn't last year, I suppose. And you have fans of the series. But anyway, I think if they sell a lot of systems, if people go, well, I'm gonna have to get an Xbox now because of what's coming, and I want to, and this is the thing, I was on the fence, and this is the thing that tips me over the edge, kind of thing. Then I think they may make a call and go, we will sell enough because there's enough of a user base on Xbox.
Well, it's sunk cost, isn't it? Like at what point when they look at the numbers, which they must have been looking at them quite a lot, do they go, well, look,
the 70 billion they'd have looked at the numbers.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, what point do you go, look, we are going to lose some sales. We are. Yeah. But we're also going to get X amount of subscribers on. I mean, I haven't done the numbers, but they've said that Game Pass is now 25 million. So what is that a year per customer, and what does that work out? I mean, no, it ain't $70 billion. It's those maths. It's still going to be like they're still losing money, and they're still putting money into development.
It's years of continued Game Pass sales. But at some point, and positives and negatives, at some point, Game Pass price is going up because you're literally getting more now, and they can justify it and go, well, it was 25 quid when you got this. We just talked about two big games, I think. One big indie, one big Ubisoft game. Both are on Game Pass. Yeah. And in fact, it's not this one because it's not coming to console. Isn't there a Warhammer game coming to Game Pass as well at some point? Oh, I don't know. I was talking to a friend of mine last night. Literally, he was saying, I haven't actually looked at Game Pass in January. And I goes, I'm surprised, mate, because, you love Mass Effect. And he goes, what? I said, Mass Effect, and he goes, I just bought that. I was like, I wouldn't buy a third-party game now. Not unless I was like, I have to play this now, because 6 months' time, probably we're at 50-50, if not higher, chance that it's going to come. Especially if it's multiplayer. They seem to be very, very big on that, or an indie. Like Death's Door has come to Game Pass. It is... a different mate of mine said, like, but they must be making so much money on it. I still don't see how. Because they're not going, Ubisoft, can we just put your game on here and you get nothing? They're going to have to pay them. Yeah. I don't see how they cannot be just throwing money down the drain. Yeah. So they're going to have to recoup it. And the only way of doing that is to get more people on Game Pass. More people on Game Pass and charging more for it. Even the most staunch PlayStation fan, right? You get to go, look, you can still play your exclusives, your Horizons, your Gran Turismos, your God of Wars. Although a lot of them are coming to PC as well now. But look, get yourself an Xbox. I mean, even my son, he goes, I wonder about it, because I was talking about the 25 million, and he goes, yeah, but a lot of my mates, they just create a new account once a month, get the £1 deal, and make it home on their Xbox so they can use their existing profile. And it's like, I hadn't thought of that. That's 12 quid for Game Pass for a year. You just need a new email address every month and a new account. Like, so how many of those are £1 accounts? I had not thought that. I don't think they'll know that. They'll know the numbers of that, I'm sure. But... Well, will they? Because they use it. It's a PR thing, isn't it? Say with 25 million subscribers. No, but I mean in terms of the revenue streams they're getting from Game Pass, they'll know what they're actually getting and what they're getting as well. What I'm getting at is if that's sort of the thing that becomes a bit more widespread, it becomes almost like the Netflix style of, well, we'll pay £2 each and we'll get an account. Because tell even the most hardened PlayStation gamer, look,
if you throw down £1 or whatever it was at the end of November or beginning of December, you get Halo and Forza Horizon 5. That's £100 worth of games for £2 for a month. And now also, if you did that in November, you'd also get Call of Duty. Like, really, a lot of the more casual gamers, I hate to use that term, but a lot of the people out there who play just the big hitters, it's only FIFA. There's only FIFA left. Like, and that's part of Game Pass in a way, because you got the early access thing with EA Origin, or whatever it's called now. So like they've kind of sewn up, or in the process of sewing up, that kind of casual AAA market. In terms of positives, Kotick will be gone. Not soon enough,
yes,
but he will be gone. He has to, because I don't care what anyone says.
I mean, it's on Twitter, so I don't know if it, but I'm sure I read somewhere that he was going.
Well, he'll have to, because Spencer has said that when the acquisition is complete, Activision's people will report to him. Well, you don't need a CEO of Activision Blizzard if you're the CEO of Xbox. And more than anything, the way they've conducted themselves in the management, and I don't want to, not everyone at Activision's evil, but the management that we know of in that respect, the way they conducted themselves compared to the way that Xbox has conducted themselves just doesn't mix. There's no way the management of Xbox tolerates that horseshit nonsense, frankly, illegality. The way and like when I saw the deal, I was like, I'm surprised. I'm sort of surprised that for the obvious reason, but also that Xbox is willing to tar themselves with that brush a little bit, because they basically, the world's eyes are going to be on them, and they have to clean up Activision from the outside in and then the inside out, because they have, these are the people who have been we don't care if you buy our stuff, just get Game Pass. We want it to be good for a consumer. We want cross-play. We want cross-format. We're making the accessibility options with the Forza stuff we talked about, with the controller, the buttons and all that. It doesn't mash. It doesn't mesh for you at all. I think have to clean them up.
And I think, understandably, when the announcement broke, that wasn't their stance to not talk about it, because they didn't want it to tarnish it in that moment. But there'll be an announcement very shortly, officially. I've heard there's rumblings already that it's part of the agreement that he's gone.
He is definitely going to be gone, and if not, well, he is. There's no if. I don't think there's no if.
Agree.
And they will absolutely tear the internals apart of that publisher and all those divisions, and they will clean it up. I'm confident of that. I hope so. Anyway, like it'll be disappointing if not. What positives do you see, if any? Well, I mean, I don't want to talk about the negatives, because negative is that people are mentioning them in the same sort of sentences as Disney now.
I feel like, do you know what? We said this this time last year, or certainly the first half of last year, before the 6 in 6 came out from Microsoft, that it was like Microsoft need to do something, and they need to do something to kind of, I want to say, compete with Sony, because it sounds so, but it does. If there's companies that are making moves against each other and are actually trying to compete with each other, because Nintendo are in their own little bubble on their own, which is fine, because they'll still do what they do, and that's absolutely fine. But these two need to kind of be loggerheads, because if they are, then the consumers win, because ultimately they're trying to be better for us ultimately. And I suppose that's the ultimate positive. If Microsoft are doing this, it means that Sony can't rest on their laurels, because they've got all those PS5 owners in the bank and all the loyalty from the PS4. I'm not saying they are, because we've got like Horizon and God of War and stuff.
It will be very interesting, because Sony are going to do their Game Pass soon, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
That will be really interesting, because they probably get one chance at it, and it has to be competitive there or thereabouts.
Well, yeah, because their first chance with like PS Now, whatever it was.
Yeah, they got away with that because PS Now already existed.
Yeah.
So sort of tarting it up is all right, but it's not what people wanted. They get one chance at going PlayStation title passmans or something. I don't know what they get one shot at getting that and the price right, and the price will be important. But I think, I don't know. I think that's not far off. I really do. We'll stick with Microsoft, because McPoo in Discord also says, do you think all the Microsoft Game Studio heads have a group Teams chat where they share memes about Phil Spencer? I reckon it's WhatsApp. It's always WhatsApp.
Well, it's Microsoft Teams, isn't it? So that's probably why I know,
but that's why I think it's WhatsApp, just because if they ever got caught not using Teams.
I like to think they all call him Big Phil.
I don't. That makes me feel dirty. Yep.
There's an
G-Town.
image for you.
T-Town says, this is nothing to do with games now. What discontinued food from your youth would you do unspeakable things to have again? Mine is cauliflower cheese nuggets that I had when I was about 15. They were unbelievable. Bonus points if it's not a sweet or chocolate bar.
Can I just say, because I'm struggling with this, but like
Yes.
cauliflower cheese nuggets sound absolutely fucking revolting.
Cauliflower cheese nuggets. What? Do you think that's chicken nuggets covered in cauliflower cheese?
I assumed it's deep fried cauliflower cheese.
Yeah.
Like a battered cauliflower cheese.
I mean, I like a cauli cheese. A good cauli cheese is fine.
I don't mind a cauliflower cheese. I wouldn't.
But it's I'm struggling whether. I mean, I'd have a go at that. That sounds all right. I mean, it just sounds a bit like a.
I mean, deep fried stuff with cheese. It's Joey stuff, isn't it? But like, I just like, I don't know. It just feels weird. But I haven't tried it, so I can't. I can't.
Do you have one though? Do you have one?
Judge the unspeakable things Steve would do to have them again.
Well, I can tell you mine.
Go on then.
Worcester sauce Twiglets.
Yeah.
You had them?
Yeah, I have.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
I've never met. I always get looked at like, yeah, all right, you made that up when I say that.
Yeah, no, and I'm trying to think now because like you're of like crisp flavoury type things.
Do you
like
think that counts as sweets or chocolate bars, or am I?
No, you've got bonus points there
because they actually did bring them back. Do you know what? I've got a really modern one. Really modern one. Sainsbury's around Christmas time or just before started doing a Chipotle cheddar, which was, oh god, my word, it was
those
and they've stopped doing
quite
it already.
recent one. I haven't seen them around. You'll be able to tell me if they're still around. I'm sure. Those
like some sort of food authority.
Oh, it's crisps though. We are.
Okay.
I like to think
I might have to. Yeah.
Those is it Max Strong?
Yeah.
You know, those. Do they still do those?
Yeah.
I've just not seen them.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Okay, that's a shit answer then. So I was like, because
which flavour are you talking about specifically?
I don't think I've ever tried the top one.
Which one's the top one? I'm thinking of the chicken
chili cheese one. I like both the I think it's the jalapeno and then the barbecue spicy chicken one in the middle.
Yeah, that's great.
I like both of those, but I don't think I've ever tried the top one because it just felt like cheese. I don't really. All right, I know it's gonna be spicier, but I was like, but the other two were really nice. I've not seen them.
That's like, he's mentioned something that's definitely like a meal almost. I can't think of. I'm
trying to think of something like that.
Yeah, same. And I can't.
Do they still do Arctic roll?
Yeah, but it's not. It's not. It still exists, but it's not.
It won't be as good as when I had it when I was.
Well, it's just not as popular. I don't think.
No, that used to be good. I used to like some Arctic roll. When I was a kid.
It is a chocolate bar, but chocolate orange Twix. There was a period in the 90s where they did, or it might have been early 2000s, where they experimented a lot with Twix.
Yeah,
every
they
few
did it with
months
Kit Kat Chunkies as well, didn't they?
Yeah,
they
still
loads of different Kit Kat.
I had a salted caramel popcorn, one of them last night. Not last night, the other night, and it was a bit of a weird. It was all right, quite nice, but it was weird. But yeah, they did a chocolate orange Twix, and that was sensational. I like chocolate orange stuff. Like it's my thing.
Chocolate orange is good.
But no, I would go with the Worcester sauce Twiglets for me. That's. I can vamp for a bit if you want to try.
No, I'm trying to think. All the things I can think of are just like, yeah, you could still technically get that.
I'll tell you what as well. Captain Morgan's rum with
do you know
gingerbread rum, because do you know what? Doesn't exist anymore. You can find bottles for £30, and they're empty.
I was looking. I really like. It just doesn't, because I was looking for the what's the other one that you were saying? The Copperberg.
That exists. I got a bottle of
that. Yeah,
that
exists. I found that.
Yeah, that's lovely. But no, the gingerbread rum does not exist anymore. It is not made. They've replaced it with what was it? Was it spiced apple or cinnamon? I can't remember what it was, but it was like, no, it's not the same. It's not the same, and it's gone. It's gone from my life for good.
That's a depressing way to end the chat, isn't it? It's gone.
He asked the question. Oh, mind you, that's not from my youth. The Worcester sauce Twiglets are from my youth, so that counts still. Yeah, he says from your youth. I mean, I don't remember my youth.
Like Walker's flavours that they just don't do anymore.
Golden Wonder crisps, do they still make them?
I think they do some.
Yeah, but they're not proper, because I think they're owned by Walkers now, aren't they? And they put the colours around the wrong way as well.
Oh, probably, yeah.
Because when I was a kid, Golden Wonder. Well, let's ask you. You remember Golden Wonder crisps?
Yes.
What colour was the salt and vinegar pack?
Blue.
Yes, correct. And the cheese and onion.
Every salt and vinegar pack that's not Walker's is blue, and that's the right thing. That always used to.
But Walker's is it now. But the Gold Wonder crisps, I suspect you can get them, but
I think they nearly went out of business. I remember seeing a program on ages ago, and so I think they asked just the core Golden Wonder.
I'm sure they're owned by Walker's now.
They might maybe
in the way that like Pepsi or whatever the Coca-Cola company owns its actual competitors in some. I don't know. Does
Tizer still exist?
Tizer?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think so. I haven't seen it, but I think it exists.
Anyway, the Walker's crisps, I was going to say, like the Worcestershire sauce Walkers were decent.
They still exist.
Do they?
Oh, yeah. Purple pack.
Yeah, purple, yeah.
Well,
Do the barbecue ones exist? The black ones? They were good.
Oh, I'm not sure they do. I think they're gone.
Oh, there we go. Finally.
There you go. We got one.
40 minutes, that's an answer.
Well, that is a podcast for this week. Thank you very much for watching or listening, however you choose to consume this audio broadcast. If you do watch it on YouTube, you'll see some footage of the games we've been talking about. So that's handy, isn't it? And not stressful for me at all to have to do that and produce it whilst also talking. But that's just all the fun of the games.
Doing the job he loves.
Yeah, doing the job he loves and moaning about it while he does it. But thank you very much. We'll be back next week with more game chat. I'm just trying to think of what games it'll be. There's a lot going on. Chris. There's a lot going on.
And it's not going to go quietly for the next few weeks either, mate.
It's not. It ain't, mate. But thank you for being here tonight, Chris. Well, as I say tonight, you should never say that. My God, I'm tired. You never say that on a podcast because people could be listening whenever. God damn. Yeah. Thank you for being here in this moment of liveness, Christopher. And thank you anyone
more than
else.
Welcome.
Thank you to anyone else who's watched, listened, shared, or subscribed. You can catch us on Spotify, YouTube, Podbean, everywhere. We're everywhere. You can't avoid us, although you can, but don't. So we will speak to you this time next week, or whenever you choose to listen. Bye-bye for now.